Shake say nkoma obi bia we nyambra wo hwe Pinax TV bra me ne wo kase na from 25th of September this particular month, this month the Nemesis year, the 9th month, things are really happening to this particular ending of September. Never be bracey. Now one of the things abaye a major topic apart from cocaine issue or my cocaine or my intersect tema ports no and no medical can want some that won't share video na Mr. Go back no call shares cocaine with my full gist as to what happened. Apart from that issue, no, you who say Ghana na you no this small country no a bim person ho. This small country, 24-25 million people, small like the city or a city in Ohio or a city in Nebraska, small like London. You see a tier ho. That small country. Nigeria crowd. Now this thing have been going on na omode year politics. Aka one day I'm not praying this happen, but I deal with my signal. Aka one day a beji boom. Because the people started in twos, in tens, some hundreds, almost thousands. The next time it will be 1 million. Nina say Group B in 2019, 83-year-old your friend Charles Komi Kujoji Oba out say regions be OT regions ni Volta regions hono omo ti omo wi Ghana na dia omo de mo Western Togoland. I'm no crown on November 16, 2019. Literally the year American assembly. Only about 100 people. Omu ye meeting. Ewo molome. Ewo ho. Hona omu declares a voter region no and Kagana hubi a sovereign state. In Sisiano, ye from Western Togoland. It's for in some a bibre na just this particular Friday in same BC. In some BC no say. The National Security, the BNI, and the Ministry of Information, they picked information, say, and they picked intelligence, say, this particular group of people are near feel say abro masino, or massa quack multiply abba. No more no, they did something. Mami Bonchimu, Nina say, this group of separatist movement are, or Mudia to the Volta region, the Homeland Steady Group Foundation, in short, HSGF. I will declare some parts of Volta region as a separatist group. No, this what happened. They last year, this idea and by a government, a shati or more down, arrest your leader. No, or more coin if you say abroad, almost multiply by no more buyers. So no, they are saying, say, indeed, this is the time. I was almost if you Ghana. Now you nim adrin kwa e so mutima na de Kenya on person yes sir. Volta region is a small section of Ghana. We love them. In fact, me be fi ho. Me boni pa of you either say me mami ana omumba Akuffo ho. So it tells you clearly say na Ghana for. But this group, a section of people adrin boni ntino on person Volta region. So these people went there, did a meeting, and they said finally 2020 September is the day on gaining independence from Ghana. So they actually came up with a plan. A plan, they said they will do demonstration, they will shoot and do other things. Beginning omini weapons. So they actually went to some local towns, Mefe, any other places, and a police station be a ho, and bro a police phone, edgy assure me kick him out. Say to no mo je no and say omo ye niema. As a niema no mo ye ne de it for a bebre. But niema ni bia no mo ye according to the Minister of Information Kojo Opon Kuma. Na or announce in a news conference and be a video no bet for so. Na matin sema na or kan Sunday we ya no. Or my update about the Homeland Steady Group Foundation. Our Matthew Moa from HSGF in short, the separatist movement are almost say omo the Western Togoland no. Or sin Crofui a blocky road. Omuko bra police for no muji 20 a giant in a way. Omuko blocky road say Kabia and back certain parts of Volta region 25th year. And almost started say almost on Benny markets near there. Into the national security and some security agencies, the police BNI, no, Omunya intelligence, that this is what is going on. ya blocking roads say mo be in Volta region mo be asin ko because Volta region no and some parts of Volta region be tell mo I western Togoland. So based on this particular thing, the security agencies with immediate effect on the Omaku maintain na ekwa they went there we any confrontation they engage them in a fierce battle. So the can't see some mechanic catch us omuko police station be eko bro police for omutuo AK-47 ya daddy say two na omode army omo ho it police for by ya ye be confront you say de mu njai mo bra na fa ye nche omuko police station na omumum atwi to exchange fire guns with the police, but luckily the police no information yatin is obi so impra but mumu de be brave prayer ama ba kokora ahwe ne nkwa na at the minister's press briefing no mebo ama in a bit no kojo upon kuma de ope brofo pa no e was some chichim anya sa on tia see opti brofo so you can skip it no problem I understand it. Now according to kojo upon kuma the security agencies no omo gather intelligence no quick na ensema manfo ekeka say o man gather intelligence quick na de no a serious no mo ban according to kojo upon kuma no opache say enyampa opache say this particular people no the security agencies picked intelligence say akosumbo dam akwami kumesi e ma Ghana fo nyina no the Volta region and the Separatist movement. Mama nka Volta region, but you be anetisa. The Separatist movement, or my dream say, omo beko ako seize and I take custody of the Akosombo Dam. Also, they will take custody of the Akuse dams. They will also take custody of the Adomi Bridge and whole central market. And no, na omo take custody. Their main aim was to destroy and blast that place. And yes, if you take custody, I can say, eh, yeah, nyafa. Almost say no. Almost say Ghana for a BBA in your hobium, which is very bad because a small country like Ghana, like it's just a piece of country. So ocean map in Ghana is just a small, tiny country. Kenya near there, almost saying here. The Ghana kitty we, just like a city in Nebraska. Oh, small country, the BA so. And ye persisted what happened to unity? It before Yema Miru ne high a greed and a hatred. We don't have love for ourselves. Whilst the US and other countries are coming together in this time, helping themselves, yet the UK, United Kingdom. Look at the Scotland, the countries are about to form the United Kingdom. Great Britain here they are there. They are even trying to get more alliance. Now they can expand. Yet dear, for we will give you more update based on this, but information about and say they've actually arrested more of these people. As Akuffo ya arrested omono ye 5 akupie quarter. No 30 arrested 31 people ye bimu akupie quarter. Ye best start to aid your massive. You have more updates about this particular issue as time goes on. But in the meantime, no yinti insema kojo upon Nkrumah or the Tudra.
Our political opponents in particular, that they were not comfortable with that, and they interpreted it as an attack on Voltarians. It was proven to be a flat out on truth. What happened on Friday dawn or on Friday morning is not the first time we have seen these or this group go on this claim that there's an old contract that allows them to be independent and seek to express it in one way or the other. It is not, we don't want to even believe that there are any political groups behind it. That those, I'm sure, who you have heard suggest that it appears there are some political groups behind what is going on. We don't even want to go that route. We are dealing with it as a pure criminal act, a pure infringement on the laws of this country, and are proceeding to treat the persons who are behind it accordingly. So government will not cut its nose to spite its face. It does not mean, however, that security has to be taken for granted in these areas or other parts of the country. The first obligation of the president and the government is to secure the state, and that obligation we will take frontally. And so the necessary maintenance of security, particularly at these installations, to ensure that the threat to the state is dealt with, will be maintained. That one you can be rest assured. But we will not cut our noses to spite our face. That is why we are happy to see several well-meaning Ghanaians do the responsible thing of joining in the condemnation of what is going on, regardless of which side of the religious, ethnic, or political divide to which you belong. It is about our motherland, and all of us must rally behind the national flag in ensuring that these persons don't succeed in whipping up sentiments, sometimes through untruths, etc. Our testing capacity for COVID has not declined, it hasn't changed. But let me just mention to you that the number of actual tests that are run are a product of previous positive cases. As we have mentioned, our strategy is to trace, to test, and to treat. Who do you trace? You trace contacts of positive cases. So if there's one positive case and the average contact is about 10, it means that the test that you conduct today will probably be about 10 tests. If the numbers go up to 1,000 and the average contact is still 10, then you'll probably be testing about 10,000 people. If the numbers drop to 477 and the average contact is still 10, you're going to be testing 477 multiplied by 10. Does that mean that your testing capacity has declined? No, it doesn't mean so. But the actual number of tests that you conduct are a product of the positive cases you are finding. So if our positive case count or active case count is coming down, naturally the number of tests that we conduct will come down. But that does not mean that our testing capacity or our testing formula or our testing protocols have changed in any way. It is just because gradually our numbers are coming down. Therefore, the actual numbers that you'll be testing are also coming down. Do we know where these persons are getting their support or their funding from? Yes, we know where the funding is coming from. And the various agencies are moving in as part of this comprehensive plan to deal with this whole phenomena. They are also moving in to deal with their sources of funding, persons who we believe are associated with the funding of this group. This thing about the plebiscite, the fact is that it is not true that that plebiscite was time-bound, that after some years somebody can opt out of it. It is not true. It is also not true that majority of persons in the plebiscite voted not to be part of Ghana. That is not true. I think about 58% or so voted to be part of Ghana, and it was not time-bound. And so that matter is a matter of historical record that was well settled. Indeed, if you look at some of the claims that are being made now by some of these groups, they are venturing into areas that were not even part of the plebiscite. Areas that were not even part of the plebiscite. That's where now they're venturing into. And it begins to give you the impression that there is possibly some motive even beyond the substantive claims that are being made. But be that as it may, the security agencies are dealing with the security side of it. They're treating it as a purely criminal act as against the laws of this country. But you have to do it in a balanced manner so that you don't overreact and end up escalating tensions further, as has been observed in other countries or other jurisdictions. Sometimes when you overreact to some of these situations, things rather get out of hand. So it has been a balance between the rule of law and using what we call adequate or appropriate force to contain the situation. And for those who have infringed upon the law and there's evidence against them, the idea is to have them prosecuted in accordance with the law. There are other sides to this, which is a lot of misinformation, as I've mentioned, that is being churned out there, hoping to hoodwink people to believe this cause. But again, efforts are underway to ensure that in the coming days, some clarity is also brought on some of these matters to de-escalate the situation. Let me take the question that came in Twi. And there are also the police for any security agencies no obsatoso. Omo say by anopana entoma emo be 10 o'clock no na omusatoso ma there also me in your mind. And you know, say intelligence failure or man say there was intelligence failure and I say now munim ana omatekra. In fact, intelligence by na near man na omahihye se omeye no dia na emu ayurem pa no intelligence agencies no ni security agencies no etumi stop oni na krampo ma and see ohwe to say dams are no person omo attack bridges are no person attack whole market ni sensitive installations are no person omo attack no security agencies no to me eye hu mama ni na NC ti kakra ka out of frustration ni ade ne e blocking ni ties or motion ni ade and also crampo no fi ase na security agencies no within a matter of hours etumi move in a containing situation no omo try some security agencies no ebe twetwe no na etu e kan bi abako ehwe ne nkwa no esan sɛ saa operations we ni ade nyina wo ya ɛyɛ balance sɛ wanyɛ ne yie na sɛ wo overreact krampo na utumi hyɛ wo nkuran ma obi kura sɔre di akyiri nti ɛyɛ balance wo de mmara no ɛne de frɛ no adequate to appropriate force ɛna yɛ sɛ adwuma no and wo hwɛ a sɛnea wɔn tumi prevent attacks on various installations ne ade nyina ne nyinaa yɛ adwuma aha deɛ nso deɛ si yɛ no so wɔn tumi ɛsɔ ano yɛkɔ yɛn nim no threats kakra wɔ hɔ but ɛno so no wɔn tu ho anamɔn sɛ wobɛka apɔtɔ kasa no meka sɛ outstanding threats no wɔn tu ho anamɔn contain those outstanding threats no so ansa na wɔn mo yɛtu mfuturo gu nkɔfo ani sɛ wɔn bɛka wɔn ho sign sɛ yɛsɛ contract bi wɔ hɔ sɛ after years bi wobɛtumi afi Ghana anaa plebiscite bi no nkyerɛkyerɛ wɔ sɛ yɛde ma wɔn na wɔn ho sɛ saa nsɛm no yɛ ntorɔ nkɔdi akyire no wɔn nso wɔ sɛ yɛde saa nkyerɛkyerɛ no ɛde ma wɔn am sɛ kakra yɛbɛtumi aka afa wɔn no covid no sɛnea ɛfi aseɛ no wohwɛ a wiase aman bebree obi akono ko atia covid Ghana yɛn di na yɛako ama bedu 477 fiti bɛyɛ 7000 mo bɛkae a minimum na yɛ ho adwuma fiti March de bia ne yɛka baabi abedu a sɛ yɛbɛdu 477 no po no because 131 bɛka ho na yɛni ehu sɛ aman na bi di kan ɛte atese wɔ hɔ a ɔmo mbɔ ɔmo ho mɔden a nipa wu bebree wɔ hɔ ba ɔmo bɔ ɔmo ho mɔden asɔ ano no asɛ yare ni mu sɛ pagya ɛwɔ hɔ ɔmo start sɛ ɔmo bibie nneɛma mu no asɛ yare no mu ɛsan ɛpagya ɛwɔ hɔ saa bere a yɛbie yɛ airport sɛ nkɔfoɔ tumi efi hɔ ɛba no ɛwɔ sɛ yɛma yɛni ɛkɔ deɛ ɛkɔ so wɔ saa aman no mu ɛyie na ɛno na yɛka sɛ nneɛma mmienu na yɛdi kan ɛnɛ yɛn yɛhyehyɛ a yɛayɛ sɛ wobɛyɛ test PCR test wɔ hɔ 72 hours wobɛdu Ghana wayɛ antigen test no yɛni di akyire paa sɛ yɛnyɛ ɔtwe nyia doa wɔ sɛ obiara tumi yɛ saa test na ɛnyɛ saa ɛnɛ yɛbie airport yɛ a yareɛ no ɛsɛ pagya wɔ hɔ no obi bɛtumi de aba kae ho sɛ mmienu pɛ bɛdu Ghana no ɛne de kɔ ne nam ɛbɛyɛ 7000 no nti sɛ yɛntumi ahwɛ ɛho yi ammɔ ho ban na sɛ ebi tumi fa mu ba a ebia na akɔfa de ayɛ mpɛ sɛ yɛbɛsi aba yɛyɛ ne saa no so no yɛni di akyire akɔhwɛ sɛ edu mpɛmpɛnsuo bi na wɔsɛ etu anamɔn foforɔ ɛfa yɛ airport no ho titiriw aman yɛ a yareɛ no mu san apagya ɛwɔ hɔ no a yɛne mu a na ebɛdi ho nkɔmmɔ sɛ deɛ ade bi a yɛfrɛ no data ne science no kyerɛ yɛ sɛ deɛ ɛkɔ so wɔ hɔ no yɛhu sɛ yɛn nuanom abɔdwe hyɛ nti ebi a wɔsɛ yɛ so no yɛpɛ nsuo edi si yɛ deɛ ho te kakra yɛbɛka afa ɛho no yɛ saa. Yeah, I've responded to that. I'm saying that we are not even paying attention to the attempts to read political connotations into the activities of these persons in parts of the Volta region. We are not paying attention to it as though it were a political matter simpliciter. It is a pure criminal matter. Some of the things they've been involved in, a conspiracy to destroy a public asset is a pure criminal matter. Okay, to take up arms against the police or the military and to attempt to take over state installations, to kidnap police officers, seize police vehicles. There are laws in this country that criminalize all of those activities. We are not interested in which date you choose to do it and whether it is during an MPP era or an NDC era. We are not interested in that. We are interested in the act that you have committed and how it infringes on the laws of Ghana and what the laws of Ghana say ought to be done in a circumstance like that. And that is why we also continue to encourage that the responsible thing to do at this point in time for all of us, regardless of which side of the ethnic, religious, political divide to which we belong, is to stand behind the motherland, to stand behind the nation in protecting our territorial integrity, and not seeking to politically posture and attempt to maybe make some gains out of it. That one will not help any political party. What we all need to do is to realize that this is an untoward act, it's a criminal act, it needs to be dealt with in that manner. Simpliciter. Yes, sir?
Official death toll at the moment. This morning, who the club that spoke in the Volta region and said that they've had information that 3 people have died. From the military and police statement, it said that only 1 person died from the first shooting. So we have an update
The brief I have is that 3 persons were injured and sent to hospital. 1 person passed on. This is the brief that I have currently. Of course, as I've mentioned, there are still outstanding threats they are dealing with. In fact, technically, the security agencies describe what's going on still as an ongoing operation, technically. If there's a need to update because of any changes in some of the statistics, we will not hide it from anybody. But the brief I have is what I have shared with you currently. I guess it's my fault taking the questions like that. Are there further questions? If you have further questions, please step up. It's my fault. I take responsibility for it. Yes, go ahead, sir.
Would the government consider imposing state of emergency in that part of the country if matters come to head?
Yeah, my name is John Awuni. I represent Kesben. I just saw something on Deutsche Welle. They did a report comprehensively about the Volta region issue, and they said somewhere 1884 they were the rulers, or they colonized the people there.
The Germans.
The Germans, yes.
Yes.
So, and they're saying that Western Togoland is a member of the Unrepresented Nations and Peoples Organization, UNPO, and that the people in that area feel underrepresented by the Ghanaian authorities. So that is why they are taking this initiative. So when you hear something like this from a foreign agency or news agency, what is your take as government? Thank you.
We would like to advise our colleagues, especially in the foreign media, to desist from any narratives that will begin to change the dynamics of what we are dealing with. First of all, this thing of unrepresented nations and peoples organization is an organization. It's like an association of people who say they have a nation or a state that is not represented. We know the history of our relationship with the Germans and how after the Second World War, the protectorate now became under UN supervision, and how upon independence after the plebiscite, the government of Ghana now had full charge of that as part of Ghana's territory. And we don't think it's healthy to begin to spin some narratives that these persons are underrepresented, etc. If you've listened to the chiefs and the people who have been speaking today from parts of the Volta region, these persons are very well represented. The people of the Volta region, who are part of the people of Ghana, are very well represented. All the agencies and arms of government are available there. All sorts of development as goes across the length and breadth of this country goes on there. So any attempt to spin narratives out of this that can further misinform the public, we would like to discourage at this point in time. Sir, did I answer your question? Yes. The Volta Regional Minister and representatives of the Volta Regional Security Council a few minutes ago just left the National Security Secretariat here in Accra after briefing the National Security Secretariat on some of the most recent developments there. And they continue to assess the situation and deal with some of the outstanding threats that they have there. If they are of the view that there's a need to escalate, I'm sure they will make that advice and get the necessary approval so to do. At this stage, they believe they are able to contain the situation, or they have contained it, and they are containing the outstanding threats. And they're also moving to deal with the substantive issues. If there's a need to change that, I'm sure they'll make a justification for that. In fact, it was the reason for our delayed start to this afternoon's press briefing. Are there any further questions? Okay, colleagues, so we'll thank you, and we'll hope you can enjoy the rest of your Sunday afternoon.